This segment of the Alice Stewart Show is brought to you by Aero Plumbing. For all your household or business plumbing needs, call Aero Plumbing at 1-866-PLUMBER or schedule an appointment online at aeroplumbing.net.
We are back. This hump day edition of the Alice Stewart Show. I am Jason Cline. I am not Alice Stewart. I am just filling in today, but I do want to mention before we jump into everything that this segment is sponsored by Aero Plumbing, who they can actually handle all of your residential, commercial needs. Fantastic folks over there. If you've got plumbing needs, Aero Plumbing at aeroplumbing.net is who you want to get at. 501-588-3200. We were talking about education earlier in the program, and I want to jump into this because I just got, I don't know if you get Roby Brock's Talk Business Morning Briefing. I get them, and I love them. I think they're fantastic. Karen is in studio with me. In case I didn't introduce her, if you just jumped in the car, Karen Lamoreaux in studio with me today.
Good morning.
So I get the morning briefing from Roby Brock, Talk Business and Politics, every morning. And in it this morning, one of the top political stories is the Budget Committee declines a $14 million increase for Arkansas pre-K. So here's the quick story. Arkansas lawmakers decided against a $14 million funding increase for pre-K programs Tuesday. The Joint Budget Committee reviewed the DOE budget plan in advance of the upcoming legislative session. Senator Joyce Elliott, she's a huge proponent of pre-K, asked for a vote on an appropriation for extra funding to address cost of living increases. Budget Committee members blocked the move, with one saying a vote was premature and that pre-K is not a critical program. Read more. They've got a link, but... So last year, during the same time, I sent a single tweet, and I got a story written about me in the Arkansas Times.
You hit a nerve.
All I said was, and it was hilarious, it was on Mike Ross. Mike Ross unveils his pre-K plan. And all I said was, Mike Ross's plan for education, get kids away from their parents sooner.
Yep.
I am not kidding you. It ignited the Arkansas Times. They were like, and some people really do. I mean, and I'm not like this like if you want to send your kid to pre-K, like whatever, but like, here's the deal. If that's your solution, like we've got crappy education, so we just need to extend more crappy education. That's your solution?
Yeah.
Like just
We're doing such a great job with K through 12 that we should now extend that responsibility to pre-K.
Yeah, because my dad told me
so well.
Because my dad told me kindergarten didn't even exist when he was a kid. He didn't have kindergarten.
Still optional in our state.
Is it really? Mm-hmm. I didn't even know that. There you go. Fun fact of the day. So he didn't even have kindergarten. So kindergarten was sold as like, this is how we can do better. We can, before even first grade, we'll have K,
Yeah.
K.
We got to prepare you for first grade. Now we got to prepare you for kindergarten.
Now you need J, which is right before K. But so anyways, so here's what I told Karen, and she had never heard this, and she's a big education advocate person. So here's the deal. Head Start program, which is it's a pre-K system for about 1 million. I think it's about 1 million kids nationwide. And right now, the U.S. government spends about $7 billion a year on this. So Joe Cline over at Time Magazine wrote a piece about the Obama administration. This is an Obama administration study of Head Start, okay? And here's the sort of top line I'll read. We spend more than $7 billion providing Head Start to nearly 1 million children each year. And finally, there is indisputable evidence about the program's effectiveness provided by the Department of Health and Human Services under the Obama administration. Head Start does not work. Do you know what they found? That any gains through the Head Start program were wiped out by the 4th grade.
Yeah.
Literally, kids who didn't and kids who did, by the time they hit 4th grade, there was no difference.
They caught up by 4th grade. And I do remember hearing about that study about a week or two ago. And there's a lot of other studies out there to indicate that there really isn't any hardline research to support the effectiveness of pre-K in general, Head Start or otherwise, even for private pre-K. So, this notion of fear-mongering that somehow our kids are not going to grow up and succeed unless we intercept them at 3 and 4 years old is really unsubstantiated. For me, and being part of the whole Race to the Top Common Core battle, one of the references I always point to is, where are they taking us? Because no government program ever gets smaller. Right. It only gets bigger. It only expands to include more people. And a lot of things that start out voluntary end up mandatory a generation or two later.
You remember what Reagan said about government programs, right? He said the closest thing to eternal life on earth is a government program.
I love
it is the most true thing.
Yeah, and that's the scary thing about Obamacare. It's harder to repeal things once they're in place. You look at China, we're always getting browbeaten with China. Oh, China's kicking our proverbial mathematical behind, Well, China has infant school. So the Ministry of Education in China says that for these high poverty areas, which is about 3/4 of their country, which is rural and poverty stricken, they send their children to infant school. So the poorest of the poor turn over their 1-year-old children to the government for education. And the middle class has the option of turning them over at age 3. And this isn't daytime pre-K like we have here in the States. This is a boarding school. So they are dropping these children off on Monday morning, and they don't see them again until Friday night.
Oh, my God.
3-year-olds, all in the name of saving their education because they're so poverty-stricken and they're so, predicted to fail compared to their affluent counterparts over in Shanghai where the money is. This is not a road that
we want to go down.
No. This is not in line with American values. And what the research does tell us is that the children who succeed and do better early on are the kids who have a lot of time with family. Mm-hmm. The kids who are spending time with their mother and their father and their grandparents. Arnie Duncan came out with this statement recently about how, parents shouldn't have to be put in a position of making the decision to leave their children with their grandparents so they can go to work. Instead, they should go to pre-K. Well, you're right. They shouldn't have to go to work. Moms ought to be able to stay home and not worry about how they're going to put food on the table. That's the problem with the corporate slavery environment that we have in our economy right now. We need to bring back the family. We need to pass policies that strengthen families, not strengthen workforce.
Yeah.
Strengthen families, and we will see our kids do better in school and succeed. Parental involvement always.
We've got a break coming up, but on the other side of the break, there was an audit done of the Arkansas welfare system last year, and it was the Alexander report, and it was huge. And I'll tell you, when we come back after this break, we'll jump just a little bit, just enough so you can see that what you just said is so important, because if two-parent households are what I think can cure a lot of problems in America, we have a welfare and tax situation in Arkansas that is extremely combative to fostering that, especially among low-income people.
I think that's by design.
Oh, it might be. And it might be just that it's so antiquated. I don't know. But I know that there is movement among some good legislators to fix it. So when we come back, more of Jason and Karen on the Alice Stewart Show. Stick with us.
This segment of the Alice Stewart Show brought to you by Aero Plumbing. For all of your household or business plumbing needs, call Aero Plumbing at 1-866-PLUMBER, or you can schedule an appointment online at aeroplumbing.net.